Moment live, a little live stream where we have a little chat and we try to see how long we can go without talking about politics. That's the prerogative for this week's Massacre Moment live. I don't know how long I'm going to last. Hopefully it will be the whole show. Because you know what? Recently, when I've been going on dates and stuff, I say to the girl, like, you know what, darling? I don't say that, but something along those lines. And I follow with, you know what, I'm really into politics, and I can tell if they're into politics or not because their reaction is usually like this. And then I say, but you know what, recently I've been trying not to talk about politics because I talk about it so much with my friends. So let's see how long we can go without talking about politics. And you know what? They're the best dates. They usually end up really well. Man, I could tell you stories about some dates I've been on. I went on a date with this one girl who was basically a member of Antifa in Portland. Man, that was some crazy shit. The fun thing about that is we got into a massive argument after about literally 5 minutes. 5 minutes we had sat down and then we started arguing, and she was so easy to destroy in an argument because it was so emotional. All she did was make all these wild claims of, hang on a minute, no, we're already going down the politics rabbit hole. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to try to see how long I can go before I start speaking about politics. That would be absolutely fucking awesome. So really, I would appreciate it if you could just ask me some questions about anything you like, non-politically related. You can ask about politics if you want, but try not to. And really, I just want to hang out, catch a vibe, see what's going on with you lot. I'm going out tonight. I'm going out in a little bit. There's a bar downtown. Some of the earlier subscribers know about this bar. It's very sleazy. It's very terrible. But for some reason, I'm a glutton for punishment, and I do want to go there. So you can ask me about that. I'm going out, so I just thought catch a vibe with you lot, see what's going on. So ask me questions about anything. Tell me something about yourself. Ask me about Japan, which is where I live. Ask me about whatever you want. Ask me anything, as they say on Reddit. Let's have a look what's going in. So, okay. Right, so we've already got some political stuff. Sun, Moon, Stars says, the brain is the engine of logical thinking. The heart is the fuel that makes good decisions. Wow, that's quite existential. I'm a little bit concerned that this is not popping up here, because usually there's a chat window here. So I'm hoping very soon we're going to see some movement and some chats popping up there. That would be awesome. But until then, I guess I can read your comments because I can actually see them behind the screen. And I guess I should probably tell you about this channel a little bit. So, okay, things are getting pretty weird. So this channel had about 3,800 subscribers up until about a week ago, and I'd been hovering around there for quite a while. Of course, everyone wants to grow their YouTube subscribers, but for me, I don't really want to do stuff that's too clickbait. I just want to have a laugh, basically. I don't really have any ambitions to be a YouTuber whatsoever. Actually, I'm a music producer, DJ, and a rapper, believe it or not, if you're a new subscriber. And I basically started doing YouTube for my music stuff. But then as time went on, and with the popularity of Joe Rogan, I realized that actually there's something about this podcasting game. Gary V, that guy online that people love, but I actually find him quite annoying. He was talking about how audio is the future of online media consumption. And whereas people used to think it's all about short audio, Gary V explained that no, it's all about long audio. So after that, I realized there's something to this. So I started doing this podcast. And really, I've just tried to keep it about stuff that I love. And from those 3,800 subscribers, after making the video on the Seitel server controversy that was allegedly taken by force by the US military in Germany, that's gotten 120,000 views. I cannot believe it. And it's just ridiculous because, look, I could come out here and just be fake and try to pretend I'm some kind of political whiz and I know what I'm talking about. But really, politics is not my area of expertise whatsoever. What I do know, though, is bullshit. So I try to call out the bullshit when I see it. My bullshit radar is impeccable, and that's really what I try to bring across. And I think that's what came across in that video, which is why it blew up. And, well, there was quite a lot of factual inaccuracies in that video, but a lot of it was actually on point, especially when we moved away from the site or servers and started kind of discussing the social justice clusterfuck that is Twitter. And so after that, I have more than doubled my subscribers. So this is really weird for me because my ambitions is basically to just build my channel up as a music producer, as a DJ and a rapper. But now loads of people have come along who are really interested in what I have to say politically. And I want to give the people what they want. So I guess in a way it's good because it gives me a framework in order to kind of limit my wild creativity and kind of just create a format that people can enjoy every week. So that's what I'm going to try to do. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't concerned about putting too much content onto my channel that will alienate people. Like video games. I fucking love video games. I'm a massive nerd. I grew up playing fucking Sega, you know, Genesis, as you call it in the States, or Mega Drive, as we call it in the UK, Super Nintendo. My family had all the consoles through to fucking Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, all the way up to the modern era. So I like talking about that stuff, but I know I'm going to alienate people if I bring that in. So what I think I might do is keep it political, do some political rants to start off the show, and then slide in some shit. That's what she said. No, that's not what she said at all. Slide in some shit that I kind of like, and maybe I can indoctrinate you a little bit in that way. So we actually have a few questions here. So Jordan Durham, my man, this guy's been around for a little bit, I think. I love this guy. He says, how did you feel about the Blade Runner sequel? All right. So, okay, non-political. I like this. So Blade Runner sequel, I saw that 3 or 4 times in the cinema, and at the time, basically every single time I went to see it in the cinema, apart from the last time, I was 20 minutes or 30 minutes late. I don't know how I managed to do it. I think my ex-girlfriend, she's famed for her punctuality or lack thereof, and she was always fucking late, so I kept missing the movie, so I kept having to see it again and again and again. Ironically, the beginning isn't that exciting. I liked it, but to be honest, that movie missed the mark massively in terms of aesthetic. It didn't look like a Blade Runner film. It looked kind of Blade Runner-y, but look, I'm the biggest Blade Runner fan in Tokyo. I'm pretty sure. I don't know about the world, but in Tokyo. I understand that world building from Ridley Scott. I understand the feeling and tone and mood of Blade Runner. The new one was too sterile. If you look at the shots of the city and stuff, it's way too clean. There's not enough hustle and bustle. There's not enough grit, grime and weathering. It's kind of lacking that. And I just felt the universe didn't really look like Blade Runner. There's too many shots in the daytime. Even the daytime shots in the original Blade Runner movie, well, they're not even daytime. There's so much pollution. Everything's kind of obscured by the pollution, and it feels like dusk. And the new one didn't have that tone, so I'm going to be impossible to please, but I wasn't really feeling that. Other than that, the story was all right, but I felt it was a little bit cheesy. I actually started writing a science fiction novel, and it actually had a really similar story. This was about 15 years or 10 years before the Blade Runner sequel. And the story was that a human has a baby with a robot or an android or a replicant in the case of Blade Runner. And I remember writing it, and that's when I stopped writing the novel. I thought, this sounds fucking stupid. But for that sequel, they actually ran with a plot about Rick Deckard, the protagonist of the first film, who's supposedly is human in the sequel, having a baby with a replicant. I wasn't really keen on that. But it was cool, though. And I tell you what, usually when they wheel out these old actors, as is the case with Harrison Ford in another franchise in Star Wars, it looks forced, they look old, they're kind of over the hill. But with that said, I thought Harrison Ford, the original protagonist who played Deckard in the original Blade Runner, I thought he was wicked in Blade Runner 2049. I thought he was the highlight of the film. I thought he was wicked. He did some good acting. He was very emotional. It was good. So that's my take on Blade Runner 2049. See, it's all about you. If you've just tuned in, I am Johnny Massacre, and you are watching the Massacre Moment live, where we just hang out, try to catch a vibe before I go out. And really, it is all about you, so you've got to ask me questions. If you don't, I've got nothing to talk about. I've got nothing upstairs, mate, but I can react well to your questions. Let's try to keep it non-political and light-hearted. Okay, let's see what other questions we got here. So Sun Moon Stars says, I'm visiting the Philippines and missing turkey and family. But was the turkey great? That's so sweet. That is very sweet. I'm smiling because that is a family question, and that means that Sun Moon Stars is missing the family. Because really, we like the turkey, right? We like all that shit. But I think it's the warm family vibes that we really like. And I think Sun, Moon, Stars is missing the family. So that's very sweet. That means he or she has a lot of love. And that's a sweet question. So how was the turkey? Dude, getting a turkey in Japan doesn't happen. It's very Americanized out here. So they do know about Thanksgiving. But I'm a Brit. We do not celebrate Thanksgiving. 2 fucking turkeys? Wicked idea. That's why I love you, America. I love America. But we don't do that shit. We don't have a Thanksgiving. So, sorry. On the topic of Thanksgiving, I do have something really political I found on YouTube's Twitter account regarding that. We could go down that political rabbit hole, but let's try not to. Your political views are spot on, says Robert Sisson. Honestly, anyone watching now who's a new subscriber from my political videos, please do not take anything I say as gospel regarding politics ever. As I said, I can smell bullshit from miles away. I've got a hypersensitive smell when it comes to bullshit, and all I want to do is call it out. All I want to do is have freedom. We live in a time when there's more opportunity for freedom than at any point in world history. There's no fucking wars. There's MAD, mutually assured destruction, meaning countries don't nuke each other. Think about it. There's no fucking wars. We've been lifted so far out of poverty since the 1990s. Go look at the stats. Just Google world poverty since the We're going political, aren't we? I can't help it. Since the 1990s, we basically lifted so much of the world out of poverty. We are potentially more free than we've ever been before. And yet, I noticed about 4 years ago, our freedoms are starting to be curtailed to the point where we've gone down a slippery slope and we are on the cusp of some Orwellian hellhole. That's why I do what I do, because I can see that shit. It's so fucking obvious and it has to be called out. Because if you don't, look how far we've gone. Oh God, we've gone political. I can't help it. When Donald Trump got elected in, there wasn't that much censorship. Look where we've gone from there. I looked at a music video I made in 2017 or 2018, and at that time, I remember the snapshot of that time, there wasn't even as much censorship then, and we've gone from that to Twitter in Orwellian fashion, underlining every single tweet from a rival political person or figure with some kind of Orwellian rewriting of the story. We're having people banned left, right, and center. People try to gaslight you. It's literally happening. It's a fact. Do you think I want to get worked up over nothing? I'm such a chill person. And that is dangerous. If you let that slide, one day you're going to wake up, all your freedoms are gone. I don't know about you. I fucking love freedom. I've been free since the day I was born. That's what my mother taught me and my father. So I got to protect that. That's why I do it. But I wouldn't say my political views are spot on. I don't really know that much. But look, I read what's online and I try to kind of work my way through it and I try to separate the bullshit from the truth. That's all. That's all. And I'm overwhelmed by we've gone so political. See, I can't wait to fucking talk about this shit, really. But I'm so overwhelmed with the support for that because having to kind of build up that YouTube channel when you don't have any traction, it's like pissing in the wind, as we say in the UK. It's kind of like you make a video, you get about 5 or 6 likes, and some trolls might come along and try to smash it. But that doesn't really represent how you're perceived at all. You just need to be exposed to a wider audience. So I'm really grateful that YouTube's algorithm somehow didn't memory hole me and put me in front of you lot. But I've been overwhelmed. And really, I just think it's beautiful to see all those people coming into the comment section. Like, fuck the video. It's all about the comment section. What you lot are talking about, having a platform where you can come and just share your views is amazing. And yeah, I had something I really wanted to say, but I've lost my train of thought. But what was it? It will come back to me. It's just awesome to see all those people. Okay, I know what I was going to say. So the reason I think that video kind of blew up, it didn't blow up, but was bigger than normal, is because there's obviously a demand right now for open discussion about the election among conservatives and people who are not infected by the liberal pathogen right now. And so therefore, some random person like me who just makes music, raps, and DJs has actually managed to attract all these people who are seeking some kind of honest discussion about how they feel. And that shows you how bad censorship has gotten in the last couple of months. Because if I had made that video before then about some other political hot topic that was smashing it in the legacy media, no one would have given a fuck. But I think there's so much censorship. People now are kind of desperate for info. So some random guy like me will become a magnet for to create a platform where people can discuss those things, which is insane. But anyways, I lost my train of thought. We've gone political. Okay, let's see what else we've got. We've got 45 minutes left, people, so I'll do my best to answer all your questions. I really, really love speaking to you. And the reason I was able to make that video that got 110, 120 plus thousand views and still growing is because of these live streams. So before I did this, it was easy to overcook and overthink the show. But doing it live right now, it forces you to be a little bit more on the ball and not digress so much. Because if you do, you're going to look like an idiot, like you don't know what you're talking about. So talking to you kind of trained me up and enabled me to do that video. Getting excited now, fucking knocking the mic stand over. So I just want to say thank you for everyone who kind of participates in these live streams, because it's very meaningful for me. And I seem to grow massively as a person, every single one we do. God bless you all. So, right. Okay, we've got loads of shit coming up here. So, Sun Moon Star says, okay. Kimberly 10 says, okay. Timadonki says, where in the Philippines? I'm not going to butcher that pronunciation, but he's also in the Philippines. So we've got two people in the Philippines. This could be interesting. New friendships to be formed, I hope. And that would be a net positive. That's what I'm all about. Shadow Blah 2. I can see this is about Batman. So I'm already getting fucking excited. I love Batman. I get well excited about this. He says... She says, he says, you said you're a fan of Batman. Have you ever seen Batman Beyond? Pure 90s cyberpunk masterpiece. I have no idea what that shit is. You know what? Let's have a look what this is. Hopefully it won't fuck up the stream. Batman Beyond. Cyberpunk and Batman. Did you see that thing that was a hybrid of Batman and samurai shit? Oh my God. There was an anime. I'm not a weeaboo into anime, but I do like the aesthetic of anime. And there was a Batman mixed with anime set in feudal Japan. Have you fucking seen that shit? I've got to get on that. I wanted to watch that with some chick, but she didn't want to watch it. So suffice to say, I'm not really hanging out with her anymore. Okay, so Batman Beyond. Yes, I have seen this. I've got to be honest. I don't like the way Batman looks here. Kind of looks a bit like a xenomorph from the Alien series. And that really is no bad thing. But it's not my cup of tea, mate. It's too... there's something about it that's just not my cup of tea. But aesthetically, there's nothing wrong with it. It does actually look quite good, but personally, it just doesn't push my buttons, if you know what I mean. Jay American says, Johnny, what holidays do they celebrate in Japan? Do the Japanese ever cut loose and get wild? Okay, so I asked you to ask me questions about Japan, so thank you very much for satisfying my desire, Jay American. Now I'm going to look like a real... liar, because I don't really know that much about holidays in Japan, but I can tell you this. So Christmas is fucking weird out here. Number one, they don't have ovens in Japan. If you have an oven, it's this weird small thing, like a box, like a portable one. That ain't no fucking oven. In England, we got ovens built into the fucking kitchen you can't even remove. In Japan, it's an alien concept. All of their cuisine, albeit, in my opinion, the best cuisine in the world, is not made in an oven. So there is no Christmas vibes for a start, because you're not getting a turkey. Some bird cooked me a turkey once. She massively fucked it up. That really soured my Christmas experience in Japan. On Christmas Day in Japan, people go on dates. It's a romantic time. Now, in England and America, it's also romantic, right? But it's more romantic in a family vibe, not a bang your cousin vibe, unless there is mistletoe on the ceiling, of course. But in Japan, it's much more romantic and slightly less erotic than that, although Japan is famous for its hentai, so I don't really know what goes on there. But anyways, in Japan, it's a romantic day. People go on dates. The guy pays all the fucking money, and that's about it. But New Year's is like Christmas. New Year's in Japan is the equivalent of the Christmas holidays in America and England and a lot of Europe and any Judeo-Christian culture. So New Year's is a warm family time, lots of food, not so much present giving, but the Asian thing is money giving. So they give money, although we give money in the West as well. And so in Japan, the main holiday is end of year, New Year's, and it lasts from about the 30th until about the 3rd or 4th for businesses. But after that, people still take time off until the 7th or the 8th because they work like slaves out here. They're part of the rat race, and that is a fucking important holiday for the Japanese, I must say. I hope that answers your question. Jay American. Jaden Thomas, the original bad man. Jaden Thomas, my man. Mr. Thomas says, damn, I just woke up. How much longer this stream doing? We're going for another 40 minutes, actually, mate, so you got a bit of time. So Devon Johnson said, here's Johnny. Nice movie reference, right? Nice movie reference. I like that. Let's talk about movies. That's cool. Ben Ryan was saying, was hoping to hear some political commentary. Well, you did kind of get it. Did that satisfy you? Is that enough? I fucking love Trump. I love Trump. Okay, here's some political commentary. So there's a book by Trump, and it's not The Art of the Deal. I can't even remember the fucking name, but for some reason, my mate shared this with me. And my mates know I like Trump, so they'll send me gifts, right? I've got some fucking Donald Trump socks. I wear them when I'm going out and I'm praying to the gods to get laid. I wear my Donald Trump socks, and they usually work. But here's the crazy thing. If you go out wearing Donald Trump socks, and then you go back with a bird, and they don't know you're wearing Donald Trump socks, and it hasn't been mentioned, if they are hardcore liberal, that might fuck everything up. But that's how real I am. I fuck up potentially getting laid just to wear my Donald Trump socks. So my friends send me weird Donald Trump shit, is what I'm saying. And someone sent me this audiobook of Donald Trump, and I started listening to it while I was doing my exercise today. It's fucking wicked. If you haven't listened to this, go and fucking just write this shit down. It's Donald Trump speaking to you for 4 hours in his kind of boisterous, overconfident way, and it's crazy. The shit he's talking about, the parallels between what he talks about, building his property empire, and him becoming president of the United States are fucking unreal. And because journalists are so lazy, they wouldn't even read one page of it because they've got Trump derangement syndrome. If they did, number one, they'd know more about the enemy, to them, their enemy, not mine. And number two, they would just know what the fuck's going on. Donald Trump's key to the presidency is in this book. He talks about never giving up. He talks about seeing challenges as opportunities. He talks about never being disheartened when people kind of break you down and cuss you. The amount of obstacles that guy's had to go over and shit he's put up with through his kind of property career has transitioned into his presidential reign. It's really interesting, and it's just Donald Trump chatting. So let me see if I can find what this is called. I've got to fucking find it for you. It was really cool. It was making me laugh while I was doing my exercise. And it's really interesting as well from a business perspective, you know, because this guy's done very well. So, okay, here we go. So the audiobook is called Never Give Up by Donald Trump. Never Give Up. So make sure you look that up on YouTube. Never Give Up, full audiobook. If you're a Trump fan, it's definitely going to satisfy you. That is for sure. Okay. So next question, what's going on here? I love your questions, love your questions. If you're just tuning in, I am Johnny Massacre, and you are watching the Massacre Moment live, where we hang out before I go out in Tokyo, chat about random shit, try not to talk about too much politics, and just catch a vibe, and just feel fucking good. Okay, so what's going on here? Jay American says, Trump awoke the beast. Yes, indeed. Croak Bullfrog, love that name, says, lol. Ed Quebec, did I get your name right? Says, I've only seen a few shows, but you're spot on with the politics. Thank you, thank you. As I said, I wouldn't take what I say as gospel in regard to politics. I want to expose censorship, social justice, the slippery slope to socialism, communism, Marxism, all of that stuff is if someone doesn't call that out, I honestly believe the free world will end. And as I said before, I don't know about you, but I fucking like being free. So I feel it's my duty to kind of just do a little bit and call it out. Because if we don't, if there's no pushback, we're all fucked. I love referencing this book. It's a favorite of Jordan B. Peterson. But in the Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, in the beginning of the book, before he lays into socialism and how it destroyed Russia and killed at least 30 million people, more than 100 million potentially, he says the biggest crime of all was not the socialist, was not the communist, it was the people who stood idly by while it just took over. And you can feel that happening now. I'm not saying we're going to slide into Marxism necessarily, but you look at the statue toppling, you look at the censorship, you look at the rioting, you look at the BLM, they are trained Marxists. They admit it. And these are all the hallmarks of the start of some kind of socialist Marxist revolution. And I will not be having that, not on my watch. It's my duty to call that out because I'm not living in a world like that. Right. Ken Paisley says, do you think living things on the planet are currently experiencing an extinction event? Holy crap. Has anyone got Jordan B. Peterson on speed dial? Because he's probably got a better answer than me. Are we experiencing an extinction event? I've seen absolutely no signs of that whatsoever. It's a little bit hotter in the summer, but that's it. Are there any patterns that we can kind of detect over the years where things are looking kind of bad? Well, the numbers look bad. I've seen a lot of bad numbers online and in news pieces telling me how bad everything is. But has my life been affected one iota, one drop? No. Every summer, people say the same thing, right? It's getting hotter this year. Is it really, though? I honestly don't know. Extinction level event. Well, a lot of animals are going extinct. I mean, some breed of rhino went extinct fairly recently. Some breed of tiger did. I think it's the South China tiger or the Chinese tiger. Various things are threatened. The great white shark, which is my favorite animal in the world, so much that when I want to get away from politics, I'll go to underwatertimes.com, go to their shark section to try to look up all the great white shark attacks. That is a little bit sadistic, but I do love great white sharks. My favorite animal, they're threatened. And if anything, the extinction event is perpetrated by humans against animals. Just overfishing is a astonishingly bad idea. Have you seen that shit? You ever seen that on YouTube where a trawler with a net like pulls all those fish out the sea? I mean, it looks kind of cool in a destructive way, but that's not really very good. So that's the only extinction I can see, really. As far as what humans are doing to the environment that's going to destroy us all, you're asking the wrong guy. I do not know. What do you think? John Wissamore says, I too joined for the honest discussion and your bullshit radar. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, it's all about trying to tap into the truth. I try to be as honest as possible. That's what my mentor, quasi-mentor, quasi and quasi, it has different pronunciations in America and Britain, respectively. I think in America it's quasi. Oh no, I think in Britain it's quasi, in America it's quasi. Anyways, I've completely lost my train of thought. See, this is the thing. I cannot concentrate. If I digress into another thing and another, I will just lose what I'm talking about. So this live show is actually very good practice for me not to fucking completely go off topic. I remember what I was going to say. My quasi-mentor, Jordan B. Peterson, said something about that, basically. Being honest, he said, Jordan B. Peterson said, if you're not honest, you can feel something in the pit of your stomach that something's not quite right when you're talking about something. And he said, when you do that, you've got to stop straight away and scrabble around and try to find other words to kind of slot into the conversation and try to kind of pull it back. So with that in mind, I started today's show. Jordan B. Peterson, anyone who hates him is an ideologue. If you actually sit down and listen to what that man is saying, it's so just jam-packed full of good advice. And so it's so well-meaning and warm. Anyone who dislikes him is a hardcore ideologue. He's not part of the liberal left. He's a free thinker. This guy must be shut down. I find that very, very sad. But hey, that's the world we live in. But I'm happy. Okay. Croak Bullfrog, your age and not brainwashes. WTG. I don't actually know what WTG means. But Timur Donkey says, So you think because of overpopulation that powers above have a plan to thin the herd to save mankind and the world? What, so you mean shadowy powers want to reduce the amount of humans? Going back to Jordan B. Peterson, he says the population is going to peak at 9 billion sooner rather than later. So apparently all this fear-mongering might be bullshit. I don't know about it. As I said, as you know, the Dems love to create a crisis, so they love a bit of climate change. So it's really hard to wade through what they're talking about, especially when they put drug-addled 13-year-olds on the platform and abuse them. So I'm just not sure. But I mean, China would do that shit. I mean, they've already done that shit, right? They had the one baby plan. Who knows what other shady shit happened around that and what happened to the kids that weren't wanted. I mean, China's already done it. And that's why we're here, to stop the slide into this commie hellhole. Right. Ed Kubek says, the left don't debate, they name call or use political correctness to turn the conversation. Political correctness is communist dribble used to destroy freedom of speech. I completely agree with you, mate. And yeah, there's a lot of name calling. I get that when I've spoken to... But I mean, often I won't even debate, because really what's the point? I mean, if someone isn't going to listen and they're just miserable and angry, and liberalism and social justice is a vehicle and an excuse for that, because that all ties into the blaming and excuse making and lack of individual responsibility. What's the point? Usually I'm just like, all right, mate, look, I don't have anything against you. I don't want to hurt you. I don't wish anything bad upon you, but you just do you, mate. And that's it. And I'll do me. Croak Bullfrog says, Japan loves Trump. Out here, no one's hating on me for Trump. There is a girl in my gym who wears a BLM t-shirt. And I thought, aren't you such a great person? You really support black people. That must mean you are great. So you're leveraging them to make yourself look good. And by wearing that t-shirt, you are basically saying that what Black Lives Matter promote, which is that black people have no individual agency. They're all hard done by. They're all victims. So when I saw that t-shirt, I thought, wow, the filter coming to Japan is so strong because it has to go through probably the mainstream media and a lot of the leftist media and then go through Japan and a lot of the publications out here. Some of them are leftist as well. And then by the time it filters down to the people, it's just, Orange Man bad to the power of 10. Okay, we've gone very political. Let's try to kind of like reel it in a little bit. I might skip some political questions. Onibush Kabuto says, gave me my best Japanese pronunciation there. Any advice you can give to a guy, me, wanting to visit Japan one day? Well, my friends, you should hit me up in the DMs on Insta and I will tell you anything you need to know. Massacre Johnny is my Insta handle. It depends on what your plan is, what your goal is. Tell me your goal. Is it just for pleasure, or are you visiting because you have some kind of financial reason? Perhaps you'd like to stay here for a long time and start a business. If you could let me know, I will duly respond. Croak Bullfrog, who's very active in the comment section, says, fortify the outer islands and protect the fisheries. Next up, we've got, Jesus, oh my God, there's so much chat. Do you know what? See, this is the thing, right? Because before all you lot subscribed recently, I was able to address every single comment. And now I understand what the donations is. Because when the donation comes, you see what it is. And I don't want this to turn into a platform where people have to donate in order to get read out. I want to read out everything. So I'm just going to blitz through it. I'm going to fucking have to blitz through it now with quick answers. Right, here we go. Should be easier for me, actually. Let's have a look. Okay. Jaden Thomas, favorite game. Favorite game of all time is Halo 3 on Xbox 360. Hands down. Hands down. Ezzy the One says, I'm from London, mate. What a shithole this place is turning out to be. Vocal suppression is at unprecedented levels, and people here resemble simple, mundane, media-driven robots. You ain't missing much. Dude, I know, because I look at some of the news. Some of the shit that happens in the UK is nuts. And here's the thing, right? And I hope this can help. I hope this can resonate with anyone who subscribed recently who's a hardcore conservative. All of my best mates are liberals back home. I love them. I will die for them. We grew up together. We went to raves together. We nearly got shanked together in some dark raves. We took loads of pills together. We went out, DJ'd, we lived the life. It was wicked. We had each other's backs. It was the ultimate kind of just rebellious upbringing, doing what the fuck you want, going where you want, seeing what you want to see. It was awesome. And I loved that lot. And they defined who, without them, I'd be nothing. And they are hardcore liberals now. And because I moved out of England in Japan, where they're quite nationalist, but they don't give a fuck about any politics at all. They're very apathetic and indifferent. It made me look at UK in a different way, from an outside perspective, outside of that liberal bubble. And so I've completely moved away from that. I'm the same as I always was, but they have changed. I haven't fucking, when I was a 14-year-old kid, I was still using this much profanity. I was outspoken, all this shit, but they have changed. Liberalism, they moved the goalpost. So before, this is the middle, right? This is the goalpost for liberalism, right? So anything over there is a liberal. Anything over here is basically a conservative. So before, I was here, but then they moved the goalpost so fucking far away, they think I'm hard right, but I'm not at all. I haven't changed at all. They've changed. And so all my friends are like that. And what I want to say is, in my opinion, politics are not that important. And I know how hard it is to hold back, because I'm talking about the fate of the free world. I do not want to see the whole world slip into fucking socialism, England or America. And having your best mate and your good friends want that is almost in some weird way worse than them like throwing a punch at you, because I'd rather be punched than have everything turn into a commie hellhole. But with that aside, I know that a lot of my political views, they seem just as strange on the other side. And regardless of who's right or wrong, having that counterweight is so important, because if it's all one way of thinking, it's all going to go that way. So you need the counterweight. And at the very least, we should try to aspire to have a well-meaning and good-natured debate. And so I can get over my friend's hardcore liberalism. Honestly, I'm playing video games with my best mate, and he says, in the first Trump debate, he said, yeah, Trump came up against a real politician in Joe Biden. And I couldn't be bothered. What do I have to gain by saying to him, no, you're fucking wrong, Biden shit. I think there's got to be a time where you just put politics aside and you just try to get on with people on a human level. And that for me is really important. If I didn't think like that, I'd lose my best friend. And if I had always thought like that, I would never have made those beautiful friends that I would die for today. So I can't remember what the original question is, but I hope that answered it. Oh, yeah, it's Esnia talking about London. Yeah, I agree, mate. Croak Bullfrog says, Biden going to let China have the largest fisheries in the world, one of the last pristine. Oh, God. Timodonkey, I'm American but live in the Philippines. Big up. John Wissamore, what do you think of the movie Battlefield Earth with John Travolta? Never seen it. Isn't that famous for being a serious turkey? Turkey. Croak Bullfrog, $2.5 trillion of China South Sea. He's a genius. Mount Rushmore president, for Pete's sake. Onibushi Kabuto says, what I kind of hope for is the mainstream media being at least a little bit unbiased. Guess that's only a fantasy because I don't want them to mislead the general public. They weren't always like this. Do you remember with Bush wanting to go to war in Iraq? I can't even remember. Was it fucking Iraq or was it Afghanistan? That shows you how little I know about politics. So Bush, war. It was Iraq, wasn't it? It was weapons of mass destruction. Okay, I remember that. So the media was kind of all for it. Do you remember? Like both sides was for the Iraq war. I remember that. Everyone was kind of getting behind it. Now that would never happen. If Trump said, I don't want to nuke the entire world, the left would say, we've got to nuke the entire world right now. They'll just do whatever, the opposite of whatever Trump says. And so times have changed so much. So the chance of having an impartial media now is so fucking slim. And I really want to see businesses like Parler not just become an echo chamber for the right. I want them to welcome people from all parts of the political spectrum. Otherwise, they'll be just as bad as the other side. And it will just become just as stagnant and radical. So I do think there's a void right now, which is why you're here. But then people would consider me, but no, just me liking Trump, a guy who hasn't really ever done anything that bad, does not make me right or whatever. So perhaps the void there is being filled by people like myself, these amateur YouTubers who are searching for the truth. Hopefully some more professional ones can come along as well. Croak Bullfrog says, who wants to be Trump? Everyone. Even the liberals. They just don't know it yet, I guess. Andrew Hoos says, hello. Martin Davis says, are you related to Johnny Rotten? No, I'm not at all. Jay American says, that's a great book. Gulag Archipelago, I guess he's talking about. Ed Kubik says, will you go to Trump inauguration on January the 20th? I like your fucking optimism, mate. I fucking like that. That's my favorite comment of today. Jay Americans, okay. Bella Lugosi says, I'm watching from Portland, Oregon, and oh, mate, you are in the belly of the beast. Godspeed. And you are so right. Communism is taking over this town. Thank you. Well, yeah, if you want to see what the communist experiment looks like, it's over there. What are people doing? What the fuck are you guys doing? What? Let's not even go there. That's a whole other episode. Joshua Aylman says, always. It's normal. Gregory de Graaf says, Justin, hello from Amsterdam. Hello, mate. I went to Amsterdam once, smoked loads of weed, did the usual touristy shit, and I took a magic mushroom. And that was the worst day of my life. It took me about 7 years to get over that. I just took one mushroom. If you want to hear that story, I'll tell you about it. I was not ready for that shit. So I don't think I'd make a good Joe Rogan protege. But hey, you never know. One day I might go back, face the fear. Jaden Thomas says, I literally got suspended from Reddit because I made a parody of an IRA song because it was talking about BLM. Sounds like a good song to me. I mean, a song's a fucking song, right? Once you start censoring songs and art, I mean, we're going serious Maoist China. Astonite Boy says, communism is taking over the UK. We will smash them in capitals. I like the this is what I love, the optimism. Yes, smash them. Please do. Dan S says, I first watched you with my young niece and nephew after we got home from watching The Rise of Skywalker. We all really enjoyed your rant about it and have watched you ever since we're in England. Thanks a lot, Dan. See, my British compatriots, they don't mind swearing because it's part of our blood. See, America, which is supposed to be the place of free speech, right? What with it being in your constitution and whatnot. See, Americans get offended about bad language. I must say, I've screenshotted at least 20 comments on my recent videos from people telling me not to swear. So I guess, do you know who these people are? Because I guess for some reason the YouTube algorithm is promoting me in part to retired conservative Christians, because those are the only people I would imagine would say that. Sorry, but swearing is just, it can never be removed from my essence. It's always going to be there. If you think that show is offensive, go and listen to some of my music. It is it's highly offensive. I mean, I could read you. Let me read you some of the lyrics to my music. So, what is it? Headgears. I should be able to remember them all off the top of my head, but it's been a while since I've done this one line. Let's have a look. I might not actually be able to read this to you. No, I can't now. But anyways, my lyrics are highly offensive. So people who are getting offended about my comments on just regular videos, you ain't seen nothing yet. But who are these people? So let me read you a few of these comments from my cracked iPhone, because it's not a coincidence about my swearing. It's actually quite amusing. San Win said, facts are wonderful, insightful, strong, with evidences, wide knowledge, but his F-rate language is too bad to share on official public pages or platforms, places that I do not want to be. I want to keep it underground. He would receive more acknowledge, which I don't want, for this, honor and respect from elder and senior personnels. Possibly. But my mum's 69 and she told me she loves my swearing. She said sometimes it's necessary to swear. She is German though. Maybe in Germany it's also quite accepted. Scheiße is what they say. But anyways, this person said if he changes his language, it would be better. It's just my opinion. So we've got other comments about the swearing. Stop cursing so we can watch as a family. It's not really a family show though, sorry. I mean, this is the equivalent of a gory action movie manifesting in the form of politics. I'm not going to censor that. We're not going to do a PG-13 Terminator like they did recently. You've seen how that turned out. Boy, this is all in capitals. Boy, you need your mouth with soap, and you need to repent of that mouth. I don't know if that's sarcastic or not, but it's pretty funny either way. Sharon B says, I would love to listen to what you have to say, but I can't listen with you dropping the F-bomb. Can you potentially express intelligent and informative commentary without foul language? The thing is, these conservatives, who are now the kind of torchbearers of free speech, can't really start asking other people to censor their language. Unfortunately for you, but fortunately for me, swearing is a necessary byproduct of free speech, and it's fucking amazing. So let's try to run through this. Gregory de Graaf from Amsterdam says, nature is killing animals all the time. That's true. Okay, we got so many comments here. Okay, am I going to be able to get through all this? This is going to be impossible. We've got like 15 minutes left. So let me just do my best. So, right, Croak Bullfrog, I love you, and you've had a lot of airtime, so I'm going to have to skip some of your comments, I'm afraid, to give other people a chance as well. Mark Simpson asks, is it true that Japanese eat koi carp at Christmas? Definitely not. I don't think they eat that ever. That would be bizarre. Bringing one home and keeping it fresh and alive in the bath until it's consumed. I've never heard of that. If that is true, it's some esoteric, archaic Japanese tradition that I've never heard of. They do drink goldfish though. That might be what you're talking about, but that's not a normal thing. That's some old school shit. When you're drinking, it's in some liquor and you drink the goldfish. They also they sever the head of a soft shell turtle and they pour it in a shot glass and you drink that shit. I've been wanting to do that for a long time, and I really wanted to see the turtle get massacred in front of me, but that's on the bucket list. Gregory says humans should litter less. I guess so, yeah. I used to litter a lot. I used to just throw my shit all over the London streets. But when I went to Japan and no one's littering, I thought, hang on a minute, this is quite good. Leroy M says, Pennsylvania decisions this morning. Cannot wait. Please keep me updated. Andrew Hughes says, is Japan anywhere with building a navy? I have no idea, but Abe, the guy he's just left the presidency or the prime ministry, I guess you'd call it. He was a little bit pro-military, so we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of American Navy down here. I meet them quite a lot. Ruby Kahoili says Trump isn't about politics. This has become a revolution. I like the flow of that. Nice bit of alliteration and assonance. A revolution. I like that. I might use that in a song. This is what he stands for. Knowledge instead of war. Trump is fighting for world freedoms. Can't argue with that. Jay American says, what's the progress on the Fukushima cleanup? How do you feel about oceanfront nuclear power plants with rising sea levels? Will nations stop building oceanfront nuke plants? It just so happens I read a scientific paper on this last week. So they measured, and I think is it Bechamel? I think, I'm going to butcher that word horribly because science was a low point in my academic career. Bechamel is a type of sauce, so there you go. I mean, you could say it's like a nuclear sauce. What is? Oh, is it sieverts? But it wasn't even that. Anyways, whatever unit. I think there's various units you can measure. Actually, I have no idea, but there is a unit, whether there's various or not, you can measure radioactivity in, and it wasn't sieverts or whatever that was. It was two letters and a slash and then two more letters, and they use that to kind of measure how much poisoning there is around Fukushima. So I looked online for ages about what level of this is actually acceptable and when it gets dangerous, and man, the figures were fucking insane. So I think that something that was safe was about 30 or 20 or something, or even 10, and around Fukushima in some of the rivers going down to lakes it was 300. So it was, I think, a third of that, being exposed to that for 10 minutes or something could possibly give you cancer, something said online. So to answer your question, apparently there's a lot of nuclear waste around there and radioactivity that hasn't gone away. And I haven't read or heard anything about that in Japan at all. And this study was done a couple of years ago. So fuck, man, I'm eating all my fish out here. God knows. It also gives details of the fish surrounding that carry some form of radioactivity. And yes, they do. And they detect it as far away as kind of around Tokyo and stuff. So yeah, the radioactivity, it's a thing, and it's not going away close to Fukushima. See, I sounded all kind of academic there. I've read a scientific paper, but I can't remember anything about it. But it's bad, and there's loads of nuclear shit everywhere. Robert Sisson says, with all the chaos that I anticipate that Biden in the White House will cause, I can see Florida, where I live, to potentially secede from the US, becoming its own country of 22 million with Trump as president. I've heard other people talk about this. Okay, but here's the thing. I thought about this. So basically, California's got to be the first to go. California is just, it's so far gone. And I think they should be the ones to separate. But what happens with the military? Because if California separates, it's going to build its own military, and who gets the claim on all the nuclear warheads? I mean, and then if someone attacks America, or if someone wants to attack someone else, what military hardware? How does that get split? I don't think that's going to be easy. I think even trying to decide that will create a civil war, potentially. Jay American says, Patrice Cullors, co-founder of BLM, is a trained Marxist. Video of her bragging about it. Yes, and it also says that, I believe, in one of her descriptions somewhere online that she wrote. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leonard Melvin says, I'm German. I don't discriminate. I hate everyone equally. Well, that's the thing. I had a lyric in this song Headgears, and it said something like, what was it? It was like, black, white, brown, yellow, you all get like something. Like, I'll attack you all, basically. Because if you're going to treat everyone equally in a nice way, you should also treat everyone equally in a bad way. When you're being a dick, you shouldn't go easy on someone with kid gloves, because that's kind of almost like soft racism, right? It's saying, well, this person's too weak to be able to take any abuse or punishment I might try to administer to them. So yeah, distribute your punishment equally. I honestly think, as ridiculous as that sounds, and I'm not advocating, punishing anyone, but sometimes, people need to be punished in some sort of way, or you have to defend yourself at least from an attack. You should direct your defense or your form of attack at everyone equally. So yeah, I agree. I'm half German, by the way. Timodonki says Jordan Peterson is a modern day legend. Yes, he is. I agree. Ruby says the Great Reset, and so on and so on. Talks about Bill Gates, vaccine plans, and so on. Shadow Blasters, do Japanese people have funny stereotypes of each other, like North versus South? Yes, so Tokyo and Osaka, they're always kind of rivals. Loads of Japanese people have straight up told me, you cannot trust people from Kyoto. Don't shoot the messenger, but that's what they told me. Loads of people have told me that. So Nintendo, don't trust anyone from Nintendo because that's where their headquarters is. Kyoto used to be the capital of Japan. Osaka is where all the extroverted people are, where all the comedians are from, and tonight I'm going out to this bar with my mate who's from Osaka. He's totally different to people from Tokyo. They have different dialects and stuff and slightly different pronunciation. And is there any banter between Osaka and Tokyo? I don't think so. I don't think there's much banter, to be honest. Right. Michael Peterson says, are you related to Jordan? Hi, mate. Thanks for your post. If you want to find out more in the case of Dominion voting fraud, visit Rebel News and watch the 4 videos there made by Keen. It's from Dominion HQ Canada. Thank you. Gregory says, everyone is created equal, but some are more equal than others. George Orwell. Leroy says, I'm an angel. Onibushi Kabuto says, ever since I was a little one, been watching lots of Dragon Ball and lots of anime. So with that in mind, plus the talks of the food there, I'm drawn in by food and anime and video games too. Mate, get your ass out here. You will fucking love it. Leroy M says, I don't want to see the whole world at American border with their hand out. Yeah, me neither. Ed Cubic says, how is Japan dealing with the virus? Is everything open? Can you go to Universal Studios and Disneyland there? Yes to everything. Kevin says, best place for nights out in Japan. I'm about to head out myself. Oh shit, you're in Japan? Hang on a minute. Did we talk earlier? Are you the music producer guy, or am I getting you confused with someone else? Oh no, you're about to head out in your respective country. I see. So best place for nights out in Japan? Contact is a pretty good club that has a Blade Runner vibe going on there. Vision is okay. Sometimes you can have a good time there. Womb is a classic club, which is pretty good, but the sound system is not as loud as it used to be. But I can't say anything about Womb because my mate, DJ Aki, plays there, and the last night he played there was fucking banging. The volume was on point. I just hope they keep the volume up. And other than that, you're looking at kind of cheesy, kind of chart music, electronic music, bars and stuff with loads of amazingly hot chicks, but terrible music. And if you want that, you want to go to a place called Roppongi. There's a place there called Muse. The saying, as it goes, never lose our muse. I'll leave that to your imagination. Highly Unlikely says, hello everyone, Trump won. Okay, and Bella says, you're missing absolutely nothing not watching Battlefield Earth. Okay, so it is total shite then. Shadow Blast says, Donald Trump equals Julius Caesar. Parallels are scary, but also promising. Thoughts? I don't know enough about Julius Caesar. You tell me, mate. I'm in Australia, says SU30. China put tariffs on our wine today. They're fuckers. They're absolute fuckers. The Chinese Communist Party need to be... I have such a strong dislike for them, to put it mildly. Put a tariff on wines, 100 to 220%. That's now meat, coal, barley, and wine. China is 40% of our wine market, so it's going to be tough. They are bullying us. Fuck them. Fuck them. You cannot bend the knee to those communists like Disney do, in my opinion. Highly Unlikely says, I have shrooms. Okay, so tell me about your experience with shrooms. Am I missing out? I need to tell you my shroom bad trip story first before we get into this, don't we? Have you ever had a bad trip, or what's the best trip you've ever had? Jaden says, the only good part of Oregon is legal weed. And Croak Bullfrog says, good for depression. What, mushrooms? Man, not in my case. Holy shit. That took me years to get over, seriously. Maybe. It could all be in my head though, dude. Okay, so... SU30 says, they put the tariffs on us because we back Hong Kong's freedom and for wanting an inquiry into the cause origin of COVID. They are such bullies. How dare you fight for the freedom of all those innocent people in Hong Kong who've been living such a beautiful life for so long? Now they're in complete slavery. I feel so sorry for them. I met a girl at a club, Vision. She came to my event and we hung out, and she's from Hong Kong. And this is how I know that my bullshit radar is so fucking strong, and that although I don't have good political knowledge, I can feel what is going on just from the atmosphere around and trying to deduce from various news sources what's going on. I asked her, like, how do you feel about China? You know, and then I went on this rant about China, and I expected her reaction to be bad. She couldn't even answer me. She started crying. All she did, I asked her, like, what do you think about China as a Hong Konger? How is it living out there dealing with that communist oppression? Started fucking crying. Started crying. And people want to fuck with Marxism, and we're all like jizzing over this shit in the media right now. Hello, anyone home? Think, McFly, think. Okay. Man, there's so many things. I fucking really want to read these all, but I've only got 4 minutes, so I'm going to have to do a speed read. Okay, let's see what's going on. D-Man, love you, Jay. I'm also from Portland, Oregon, the city with the most strip clubs and dispensaries in the world. Lol, what's your favorite drug? My favorite drug? Life. Fucking love it. I love waking up in the morning. I love the first breath. I'm so happy and humbled to be alive, blessed with good health. The chances of me even existing are astronomically small. When you put that into perspective, every breath is like winning the lottery. Being able to do things like this, speak to people, meet new people, have new experiences, you know, love my friends, love my family. That is my drug, is life itself and love. Bella says they were kids who had BLM sticker parents. Gregory says, can we buy your music? You certainly can. Search for my album Maniacity and my album No More Sun, and just check me out on YouTube. I made a really triggering song called Get in the Kitchen, where I try to trigger people. You might want to check that one out. Stream me on Spotify as well. Leroy, swearing and Brits go with their stiff upper lip law. Agreed. Swear words are no problem for this Texan, says Croak Bullfrog. Highly unlikely. I'm in the UK. We use the F word a lot. Who decides what's okay and what's not? Lord Too Dark, I love your music. I don't mind you swearing in it. Actually, your foul language keeps it real. Yeah, I try to keep it as offensive as possible. My next album is going to be, well, it's going to get me cancelled, but let's just see how that goes. Leroy says we have two groups of conservative, religious and civil. Okay. So that makes sense. So it's basically religious conservatives who are getting upset over my swearing. Really interesting, though. And it's funny because they really, really hate that I swear. And the irony is they want to say, stop fucking swear. I can feel it. They want to swear to tell me to stop swearing, but they can't. So it just looks very meek. But hey, got to respect their opinion nonetheless. Unless they try to forcefully try to get me to do it. In which case, fuck off. Germans and Polish do eat carp at Christmas. Is there another name for carp? Am I getting confused with this? Bella says, how popular is martial arts in Japan? Not really, but my gym is a UFC gym and they fucking love it down there. Timodonki, has the Kraken been released? Doesn't seem like it. Maybe one tentacle, which is probably the appropriate vocabulary since I'm residing in Japan. Swiftly moving on. Savage Rain says, no language is foul. Only people's feelings make it foul. I'm so with you on that. Shut up, you're driving me crazy. What time is it there? It's 8:58 p.m. Savage Rain says, I like this guy a lot. I really like him. You've got to follow me on Insta, mate. I want to give you the special VIP Discord. The Kraken destroys the whole election. They challenge the constitutionality of the mail-in ballots, setting precedent for other contested states, massive irregularities in many states. And okay, so we're not going to get through all the comments. I didn't really realize how many there would be, so I apologize for not being able to read them all out. I would stay here all night and do it, but I've got to go out and not be a hermit and see what's cracking out there. So just scanning through the comments, see if there's any other shit that I want to read out. Psychedelics are great, but you must be prepared to really look at yourself, says highly unlikely. Okay. She's smiling in the avatar, so there's probably something to what she's saying. Jaden says, one annoying thing is I'm bisexual and I've literally been called a traitor to my community, which shows how they seem to think. Just because I'm bi, I need to be to the left. So are you saying that, oh, okay, I see what you mean. So if you're bi or if you're not hetero, you have to belong to the left. Yeah, because they think all gay people and all bi people are the same. They think you're idiots. And it's very easy to manage people like that if they're all part of a hive mind. It's just, no, that's so against my philosophy. Everyone is an individual. Everyone is beautiful and different, and they should be respected as such, in my opinion. Dig Dug says, love from South Florida. Florida, you people are nuts out there. I love Floridians. One of my best mates is from Florida. I love him. Okay, we're getting to near the end of the comments. Hey, all 4 minutes left, says Knack Ninja 5000. And you used your only comment to say that? Well, that's why we love you. Have you heard Biden in his Thanksgiving message, says Lan Tran. He read off a teleprompter and doesn't know how to pronounce the word Psalms. He said palms. And he calls himself a devout Catholic. What a git, hypocrite. Yeah, what wanker. I did hear something about that. Leonard Melvin said, mushroom tea is wonderful as long as you're in a pink padded room or an open field. I'll choose the open field, I think. Bella says, good night. Happy to see a great stream and chat that's not polluted. Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is, if I do get big on YouTube, then the chat is going to get polluted. So I want to find a way... I want to find a way to just, I don't know, keep in contact with just the original people. So I've got a Discord and I'm trying to work out as well how to give out the invitations and stuff. But yeah, let's think about that, shall we? Any suggestions? Welcome. Robert says, have a fun time tonight. Good show. You earned it. Dig Dug, laugh my arse up. It's not the word, it's the intent of the word. Gregory says, they can't badmouth people with Tourette's. Benjamin says, Trump is the winner, period. Mo Flyboy Blanquito says, what's up with the Kraken reference? Can someone get me up to speed? I'm a little slow. Basically, the Kraken is a metaphor for some bombshell evidence that's going to overturn the allegedly fraudulent election in Trump's favor. And then everyone's telling me it's actually a server or something as well. But it's whatever the original, the origin of it, it's basically evolved to mean it's bombshell evidence that's going to make Trump win the election. Kevin Real, usually go out in Ginza and Shibuya myself. Are you in Japan? Yeah, Ginza. Ginza has a bar called Genius. There's actually quite a laugh in there. Dina Hawkins, Reptilian Hunter, salutations from Bristol, UK. Big up Bristol, one of the capitals of drum and bass. That's where drum and bass came from. My favorite genre of music. Fast Cat, hello from Rogers City, Michigan. Hello, man. What's happening in Michigan? Let's sort that shit out, shall we? Gregory says, good stream, mate. Oni Bush Kabuta says, you're awesome, my man. Hope you have a good time, dude. Thank you. Gene Wellster says, 17% of Biden's voters wouldn't have voted for him if they would have known about the hard drive and sexual abuse claims. All of those things swept under the carpet by the mainstream media. I mean, what, Donald Trump is a fucking sexual predator? Give me a fucking break. He said he grabs him by the pussy. Have you heard what men say in the locker room? That's nothing, dude. Let's be real here. Stop all this pearl clutching bullshit. There's videos of him like sniffing up kids and shit. And he's the fuck... What hypocrites they are on the left. Benjamin Anderson says, Missouri veteran, the Kraken has been unleashed to take out the Dems. Salute you. Scorecard is Kraken, says Croak Bullfrog. Okay, so look, I'm going to have to call it a night there. I've got to go out. See what's happening in Shibuya. I'm really warmed up now. I'm ready. I'm ready to fucking go out there and battle my way through Shibuya. And it's all because of you. So I really appreciate that. Love you a lot. Make sure you follow me on Parler at Johnny Massacre, Twitter at Johnny Massacre, and also, of course, Insta Massacre Johnny. And thanks everyone for tuning in, and to all the new subscribers. I'll do my best to entertain you all and just to give you a platform where we can all hang out and just fucking have a good time, because why not? I've been Johnny Massacre, and I tell you what, mate, you better be back for the next live stream. Otherwise, I will be coming round your house. Make sure to like and subscribe, because that is what all those other cunts tell you to do.